Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Diablo 3. My name is Wilfred. So looks like a lot of people are talking about the upcoming Test-Ryan patch note. So I'd like to spend some time just going through the key items with you. And also there's been a blog entry on the balancing between all the classes and so on. So yeah, that could be quite interesting too. And I've got myself a t-shirt from Blizzard on the D4 Lilith T-shirt. So at the end of the video, I'll show you some picture of that. I thought it was pretty nice. All right, so now let's just dive into the first thing first. Is about the balancing of the classes. So for those of you who play this game, you know that, and I know that not all the classes are made equal. And over time, some classes getting more attention, some classes being able to exploit certain mechanism and so on. So overall, we all know some classes are ahead and some classes are behind. Now, so if you take a look at the data here, which is from the non-season play, looking at 5,000 Paragon, which I don't know is normal or not. I only have about 1,000 odd in my non-season account. So I guess there are some people who are pretty dedicated, have been playing quite a lot on this game, and looking through all the classes, I think the average is 130, Greater Rift 130. So classes like Barbarian, classes like Monk, Witch Doctor, Wizard, by and large, they are roughly the same place. And I kind of agree to it because I do play the Witch Doctor and Wizard as well. Not too much on Barbarian, but I heard they're pretty strong. And not too much on Monk yet. But yeah, I mean, I think with the new set, the Monk is getting to a next level. So these are by and large pretty good. Crusader is always a little bit weird because a lot of people can exploit a lot of things from Crusader. I myself just, I'm not a Crusader kind of person, but I do see that Crusader is one of the strongest character since day one. A lot of hardcore player also play it. If you look at the statistics on the class differences and so on, how many people roll a Crusader, well, there's a lot. People usually roll a Crusader and or a Wizard, towards the hardcore especially. So yeah, the Crusader is definitely way off the chart, 8 above the 130. Now I'm not saying call for nerf and whatnot. I think these are all some of the mechanism that tuning that Blizzard has to go through, and I think by and large, if you remove some of these animation cancellation kind of mechanism, maybe or some of the classes will come back to the average, which is 130, which is still quite good. Now, but suffice to say, Demon Hunter has always been pretty weak, and I know that, you know that. And not surprisingly, Necromancer is the lowest, which is a 7 level below the average. And if you compare Necromancer to Crusader, is even jarring. The difference is like 15 level of Greater Rift at that 130 tier. So it's funny because I talk to many people, and many people have been complaining that Necromancer is like so powerful and whatnot. I think the problem with Necromancer is just the survivability. I have no problem clearing a lot of map with my, say, Skeleton Mage kind of build, but the problem is that Necromancer always get one shot quite very easily. Just anything touches on the Necromancer just die unless you play the Thorn kind of build. Still, pretty fragile when it comes to higher rift. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think Necromancer needs some rethinking. It's been a class that's left behind since the expansion quite a number of years ago, and a lot of classes getting their love and buff and so on and so forth, and Necromancer has been lagging behind a lot. So yeah, I mean, I think they need to fix the Necromancer, they need to fix the Demon Hunter, but I believe there's a lot of work need to be done at that kind of like tier, because it's not just buffing certain power to become more powerful. It's really the overall packaging of it, the overall survivability of it that need to relook into. My humble thought around it. Now, I'm not really like really great D3 player, but I do play the game. I do feel that there are several classes that are kind of strong, and I mean the other thing is that well, they don't really break down into the build discrepancies, because I think that would be a even more interesting data to look into. I suspect like the Monk itself 130 is really using the latest set items maybe, but if you look at some other set items, they're probably not quite making it as well. If you look at Barbarian, maybe looking at a certain set item as well, the Whirlwind build that has been pretty good this season, but beyond which I don't know about the rest of the set items. But I can tell you that for Necromancer, I mean, you know, that the many set items are still not quite making it. So yeah, I mean, that's my thought on that. So at least Blizzard and this team, the legacy team, is taking note of the fact that you know, there is quite a lot of discrepancies among some of the classes, namely the Crusader, Crusader, Necromancer, as well as Demon Hunter, that need to look into. But I hope that they also look into the various kind of set as well, to bring some of the lower performance set back to the 130 level. I think that would be pretty ideal, I would say. So yeah, you can just hope. I don't know. There's still quite a lot of seasons to go before D4 appear. And if you look at the rest of it, they say that anything plus and minus 5 or more Greater Rift level, you warrant significant change. Yeah, I do agree that not too much on Crusader again, but more on the Necromancer and the Demon Hunter. If you look at this figure here, so yeah, that's pretty interesting. And the fun thing is that they upscale in season as well. So they just for fun and whatnot. Then you see that, well, the discrepancy among some of the classes is even more glaring. Some of this, like, getting new set, you got the 134. You get the Barbarian with the Whirlwind build that's pretty strong. Crusader and Wizard, I think there's some kind of like animation cancellation kind of like mechanism make them pretty strong as well. Yeah, but Necromancer still consistently quite not making it. So yeah, and they're going to put in a Greater Rift cap 150. I think it's all right. I mean, I'm not getting that level anyway, so it's not relevant to me. But I can see some may want to it get a little bit silly beyond which because you just keep hitting yourself to the wall and hope for fish for that particular map to go beyond a certain level. And I don't know, I don't find it fun to fish for a map, but you know how it goes when it comes to Greater Rift. You want to beat the target, you just keep farming for a map, and you just have that chance to maybe conquer certain cap. That is never my cup of tea. But anyway, so that is something that they have acknowledged, and they do talk a little bit about solo versus group design and so on. They talk about the Z DPS as well. So well, take a look at the notes and so on. I think it's rather nice that they have some communication to our people here, to the players here. All right, so that is the balancing thing. Now, the more exciting thing is the upcoming season 21 for the season 21. I think is it 2021. 20, maybe 20, I don't know. I get a little bit like carried away with the number, but I think it's 20. So now the upcoming season 20, the patch is going to go live in February 6th. That is the testing period. So I may take a look at it. I don't know. I'm not. We'll see how much time I have. Because I got other games to play as well. But the exciting thing is that there are 3 brand new class sets to look into. The 3 of them are the Barbarian, Witch Doctor, as well as Wizard. So I'm going to address a little bit of that. But I mean, you do see that the Crusader is getting a little bit of adjustment. This is the one, the Heaven's Fury animation of that rune can no longer be cancelled early. So I do not know how it's going to affect, because I do find that the Fire of Heaven, the rune, fire really rapidly. I mean, you can just spam it like crazy and they hit really like a truck. It's really hard. And I do not know what was the animation meant to be. Like, how long can how fast can I spam it? I don't know. So this particular nerf or adjustment, where I'll have to see what it's going to be like. So I don't know. I can't really comment on that yet until I get my hands into the patch note that's come up. Well, at least the test server that is coming up in February 6th. So that is one. And also that there's another items that are being changed as well, the Mantle of Channeling, whereby the bonus granted by this item occur 1 second after channeling has guns. So again, I guess it's something to do with the animation kind of like mechanism for the wizard, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those things that I may be exploiting it. I don't know. It's one of those things that we have to see. All right, so now there's a new set for the Barbarian, which is the Horde of the 90 Salvages. I love the name of it. Double the effectiveness of all shouts. Fear enemy take double damage. So it's interesting. I don't know whether at the the high rift do we do fear or not. I don't think fear mechanism is not something that I've been using quite actively, because the mob keep running around. You want to group the mobs together, not to fear them all around. So yeah, it's one of those things that it could be quite interesting to see what you can do with it. Can you fear the boss? Interesting. Each stack of frenzy reduce damage taken by 5%, and because the frenzy is going to, I think it's going to increase the frenzy stacking up to 10 times. So yeah, I mean, you got another 50% damage reduction, which is kind of standard. It's like almost every single it's a lot of class sets out there. It's just the second one is about damage reduction, but of course it's kind of important to have multi-layer of damage reduction. Otherwise you just have to wear the very boring unity ring that I don't know what to do with it when you are having a group play. Anyway, so that is the damage reduction 4-piece bonus, and the 6-piece bonus frenzy deal 1000% increased damage per stack. How are you going to build this one? I don't know yet. I mean, it could be rather interesting because there's a lot of power that you could go along with Frenzy. I don't know whether people want to do a Thorn build or not. You want to do some legendary dam that want to buff this particular Frenzy. There's quite a lot of options there. But I think they purposely leave it quite open for this like Barbarian build, whereby you can just put some of the other stuff inside to make the build work. So yeah, we'll see how the thing goes. I don't really play Barbarian that much, so in this upcoming season 20, I guess, I probably may not be playing a Barbarian. But if you guys have some idea, drop me a note below. Now, Witch Doctor is interesting. The set is called the Mundunungu Regalia set. I don't know whether I pronounce it correctly or not. The Witch Doctor set is always very hard to pronounce. It must be some kind of like a Latino language somewhere. Big Bad Voodoo will follow you and last twice as long. This is interesting because I don't really use the Big Bad Voodoo that much because it's just stationary somewhere and doesn't really go anywhere. So that could be rather interesting to have them follow you and last twice as long. I think by default it's like 20 seconds, if I can't remember, or half a minute. But yeah, and the cooldown is like 2 minutes or whatnot. So it could be quite interesting to see how this plays a part. 50% damage reduction for 30 seconds when you enter the Spirit Shrine. That is like no-brainer, because whenever you do Spirit Walk, you will enter the Spirit Ryan, and that will give you the damage reduction for 30 seconds. It's like a freebie that is handed to you as a Witch Doctor. Not the most exciting set bonus, but it's something that I will pop the Spirit Walk with the invulnerable rune, of course, very, very often. Is I use it just to stay alive, it's kind of thing. So whatever I do with my Witch Doctor is all evolving around Spirit Walk. So yeah, I mean, this is like, okay, I'm fine with that. At least it's not some of those like how should I say, like Crusader the Veiler set, whereby you have to get like 1 or 2% per stat. You need to scale it up to 50 stacks kind of thing. So yeah, whatever. So that is the 4-piece bonus. The 6-piece bonus, Spirit Barrage deal increased damage equals to 50 times your mana regeneration per second. So now some may say that, well, why do we need to have this build? Because you have the LN build, the Legacy of Nightmare, that is very much on Spirit Barrage. But I thought it's nice to have a set that go along with it. And Big Bad Voodoo does have some rune that I believe there's one rune that help with the mana regeneration per second, and if 50 times on that could be rather interesting. So I'm kind of interested to see how it's going to play like with the Spirit Barrage as well as the Big Bad Voodoo that go along with it, and other thing that I'm sure you have to package within the whole Witch Doctor kind of set. And there are a couple of changes to the items as well. The Barber, instead of dealing direct damage, your Spirit Barrage now accumulates on the target. Stop casting, explode, deal 500% of the accumulated damage to all enemy within 15 yards. So it's going to be quite interesting. I foresee myself during the spirit walk kind of like a duration, you do a lot of crazy direct damage, and after that you need to run away to somewhere else and let it explode. I think that would be kind of the gameplay. So I dig it. It's kind of nice. Gazing Demise, which is the spirit barrage again, the Phantasium rune. Each active Phantasium lasts twice as long, increase damage of the spirit barrage by 100 to 150%, also increase the attack rate from the Spectra. So yeah, so that could be quite interesting, and it's going to roll the crit hit chance instead of life per second. So I think I'm quite interested in the Witch Doctor. Now, my wife probably would not play the Witch Doctor in this upcoming season, but I'm actually rather interested to try that out. All right, so now Wizard is what my wife would be playing. I think very high chance. I'm still looking at it as well. Now, the interesting about this Typhoon's Veil is that it focuses about Hydras, and I always like to play Hydra. But Hydra is never competitive, in any build. You could try to have 2 Hydra, but it just doesn't work. You don't have enough gear to make it work. So now, I think the design of the Typhoon Veil around the Hydra is pretty interesting. The way they do it is that they double the duration of the Hydra, so it lasts a bit longer. Increase the number of heads on the multi-headed Hydra by 2. So I think right now, if I'm not wrong, the Hydra has 3 heads. If you pick, so I think one of the runes is reducing that into 1 head. But yeah, multi-headed Hydra is 3, so you add another 2 heads to it, so it's 5 heads in total per Hydra. So you could have like if you have 2 Hydra, I don't know whether you count it as a 10 heads or not. I don't know. But anyway, so you double the duration of Hydra. Not that exciting because you spam it anyway, but you increase the number of heads, and I presume with that, then you scale up your damage by that in the sense. Damage taken is reduced by 8% for each Hydra head alive, as long as there's 1 available. So, well, I think that is kind of no-brainer, because if there's no head available, the Hydra is dead anyway, I think. So how do you have the damage reduction? But so in any way, so what it really means is that, say you have 5 heads, that is 40%. But I don't know whether you count multiple Hydras as multiple heads or not, then you can reduce quite a lot of damage in the sense. But each time you take damage, one of the head dies. So I really don't know how it's going to play out. This could be rather interesting. You could end up spamming a lot of Hydra just to keep the number of heads up onto the damage reduction. And this one could be quite high. I don't know how they count the hits, because I can have multiple kind of like, I can have 2 Hydra, and each Hydra could have 5 heads. Then yeah, that is like 10 heads in total. So I could reduce by 8%, so it's 80%, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hydra deal 1000 increased damage for each Hydra head alive. So now it seems to me the gameplay is to just front run all the Hydra in front, and you don't really jump into any situation and let the Hydra clear the mobs. I believe that could be the way that you play the Wizard, just much like the Necromancer in a sense, whereby you use the Skeleton Mage to just clear off a lot of stuff, because every time when you take damage, the Hydra head gone. Or you can just keep spamming the Hydra. How fun is that? I do not know. So anyway, so the legendary items, give you extra Hydra cast whatever Frost Nova and deal extra increased damage. So yeah, I mean that could be a bit of like crowd control, a bit of like increase. This is the offhand, by the way. So this sort of thing, I think, is to do with the making sure that you don't exploit the mechanism of the game. So that's how I see it. So yeah, that is all that we have in the upcoming patch. Unfortunately, there aren't any tuning for Necromancer nor the Demon Hunter. So I think you have to wait until maybe season 21 to see any improvement onto the Demon Hunter as well as the Necromancer, perhaps with the new sets as well, because now the rest of the heroes or the character have already got their new set. Once the season 20 is live, there's quite a lot of set to play. I mean, the monk set is also very strong. So there are many options to play in this upcoming season. And as I promised, and these are the T-shirt I've got from the Blizzard store, gear store, which is the D4 Diablo 4 Lilith T-shirt. I thought it was pretty cool. And the back of it, you see the logo of Diablo 4 as well. So I don't know. I may wear it when it's nearer to the launch of the Diablo 4. But in any case, well, thank you so very much for watching, and do let me know your thought about the upcoming class new sets and so on. At the description below. And by the way, season one thing very important I forgot to mention is that the season 20 mechanic is to enable us to change the to have the Kanai cube select any weapon, armor, or jewelry slot that as you want. So it's still 3 slots in the Kanai cube, but there's no restriction that you can only have 1 weapon, 1 armor, and 1 jewelry. You can have 3 weapons if you want, or 3 jewelry if you want, or 3 armor if you want, or combination of any of them. All right, so I'll see you next time. Goodbye.